Michael Hunt's art career began while still a student at LSU. Before and after football games, he wheeled a shopping basket around Tiger Stadium, selling his first poster for $10 each. That was in 1986. Today, that $10 poster is worth upwards of $1,000. Over the years, Michael has created numerous posters for LSU. These do, however, sell for considerably more than $10. What has eluded even the most die-hard collector of Michael's LSU poster art has been the chance to acquire an original painting. Michael is notorious for never selling his original paintings for any price. Some call it eccentric, but regardless of the reason, a Michael Hunt original has been almost impossible to own, until now.
Hi, I'm in my home. I wanted to showcase works that nobody has ever seen. These pieces were the inspiration for the Prestige collection that I'm doing right now that is extremely limited. All the pieces that you see on the wall here are florals that are done on plexiglass. All of these are painted on the front and the back of plexiglass. Naturally, it's impossible to be able to reproduce the depth and the dimension about painting on the front of something and painting on the back of something in a limited edition print. So therefore, these, which were done upwards of 10 years ago, when I first got into painting on plexiglass, were the inspiration for the new fleur-de-lis piece. Now, I want to show you what the inspiration was for the new LSU and Tulane pieces. Okay, this is another piece that was done about 10 years ago, which this piece is on canvas. And if you look closely, I mean, it has enormous dimension to it. So I've always been fascinated by dimension, and to create limited edition art prints, which by nature are flat, it's impossible to really push the envelope. People have seen the full stamping and the embossing that I've done on a lot of work that you've collected, but there's still a limit. All of these pieces would never nor could ever be put into print. Okay, this is another piece of my home. This is the original of a lithograph that was put into print. The lithograph was a $150 lithograph. This original is a $125,000 piece of art. Now, and people say, well, you know, how do you come up with a $125,000 piece of art? It is simple economics. It's supply and demand. I have a very limited amount of time in which I can create art, and therefore, what I do has to be very specific, and whether it's going to be put into a print. It's always been the case for 27 years. Everything I've done has been put into a print, a limited edition print. And I've been very blessed, and you guys have supported me so much, and I have nothing to complain about. Just like every artist though, I wanted to do something that was different. And the plexiglass pieces that you saw on the stairs, the canvas pieces such as this, they all convey one thing, and that's dimension and a unique quality that you cannot get simply by a singular plane of a lithograph or a serigraph or a limited edition print again. So this was the idea was to do a video that would give you kind of a little glimpse into what it takes to produce one of these pieces, and to really let the viewer see kind of a hot behind the scenes as to what it's like in the studio, and how, you know, it isn't this Willy Wonka factory that just cranks these things out, and how it is very, very limited. So number one, I've been very blessed over the years. Thank you so much for all the support that you've done with my prints, and I'm going to continue, of course, to do limited edition prints and really unique things, just like I've done with Duck Dynasty and Sean Payton. But occasionally, and only rarely, will I take an opportunity and I will do something as special as the 3 pieces in this Prestige collection. And we'll show them to you by video. You'll go to the website, we'll announce when they are, you can see them. And to give you an idea, right before this video, I happened to talk to my office and I said, oh, by the way, how many people are on what would be considered our saints list, for instance? And when they told me it was 4,900 and something people that have purchased fleur-de-lis related pieces from me in the past few years. I said to myself, okay, that's almost 5,000 people just on that one thing. For LSU, it's over 15,000. For Tulane, it's 0. This is the first Tulane piece that I've ever done, okay? So I can only do so many. I don't know if that's going to be 3 or 10 or 12. I don't know if even doing these videos and all of this production is overkill, but it's something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to have a chance to communicate with the audience and show them how it's done. But one thing that I will tell you is, if you're interested in it, don't wait, please. Thank you. This is my new LSU piece, my LSU pop art piece, which is going to be individually hand embellished along with gold leaf, and no two will be alike. Everyone will be different. And so the concept of this piece was to incorporate all the logos from all the years since the university's been around. And I'll begin with my sizing, laying down the areas that are going to be gold leafed. This is the hold your breath part. There's nothing else like it, though. I mean, there is not one metallic ink on the market that will ever replicate, just the beauty of gold. I mean, there's a reason, why it is what it is, and it is very time consuming. It is very expensive, but I try to still, look, I started with a shopping basket at LSU, and I never forgot that, and I try to keep everything I do affordable. I mean, I've had people offer me as much as $40,000 for originals that I have done that I did not sell, because I'm known for not selling my originals. And the reason is that the amount of time that I spend on working on an original piece, it's always designed to be put into print and made into a lithograph or limited edition piece. And I want people to see my work. I want many people to see it, and the thought of just one person having it was something that never really interests me or excited me. And so what does excite me is the fact that this is now the next best thing. Whereas the fleur-de-lis are just 100% original. This begins, as I said, as a giclée wrapped on canvas, and then I overpaint and embellish it. And it is a process that just cannot be rushed. I mean, you cannot assembly line it, you cannot rush it. It's like, if you decide that you're going to get involved in doing this and you're going to incorporate gold leafing, then you might as well just realize that you're going to devote a lot of time to it. But the effect is so beautiful that, again, nothing can compare. So now what I'll do is I'll continue the stripes, the gold leaf stripes, but I mean, you can see just the reflections on it. It's just, it's like nothing else. That's what I'm going after, to where every person will have something that is completely unique. No two will be the same. The next step, after all of the gold leaf has been applied and dried, the word of the day is dimension. So I wanted all of the other areas to really pop. So the next stage was to pick a variety of different colors that I use throughout the painting, and then mix those colors with a specialized gel that would raise and show tremendous dimension. You can see here some of the colors that are being used throughout the painting itself. And by taking and applying these colors with a palette knife, to where you have just a substantial amount of paint that you're able to lay down, you have to be very, very careful, of course, because painting with a palette knife, some people say, oh, it's so easy to paint with a palette knife. It's not very difficult, actually. So using all these different colors and tones, I will spend a day going over each one and each individual area, trying to create as much dimension as I possibly can. So here we are, 24 hours later. You can look around and you can see that all of the various areas throughout the painting have been embellished with this really high dimension. And this dimensional paint, along with the shiny gold leaf, this beautiful gold leaf, it's the perfect complement to this pop art piece. And this piece, as it is right now, is what's called gallery wrapped, which means that there's art on all four sides of the piece. I mean, you theoretically could hang this piece on the wall just like this, or we're also offering a frame that goes along with it that I chose. However, I designed this piece to be hung, just like this, should you so desire. So to really appreciate it, let's do a close-up on really some of this to show you the kind of dimension that I'm talking about. You can see right here the dimension of the paint, and how it complements the gold leaf. And that was the goal with these pieces, and that's why I call them uniques, because each one is completely different. No two are exactly the same. Again, these are not prints. These are not numbered. These are each original works of art, because no two are exactly the same. This is a close-up of the frame that's being used both on the plexiglass dimensional piece, as well as if it is something that you want to have the LSU canvas piece placed in as well, which is just it's gorgeous frame. I mean the dimension on it is it's just beautiful. There's only so many of them. They look great without the frame at $550, but even with the frame, it creates an entirely new, beautiful look for another $150. So there you go.
Michael Hunt is one of the most successful poster artists in the world. His limited edition prints are owned by literally hundreds of thousands of people. Over the last 25 years, he has released but a handful of original paintings. One was a portrait of the Blessed Pope John Paul II, presented to His Holiness in Rome as a gift from Louisiana. Another was a portrait of Bill Clinton, presented to him during his presidency. Occasionally, one will surface which was a gift by the artist to a particular person. However, there has never been an opportunity such as this to acquire such a spectacular piece for such an affordable price. Only a handful will be created and offered on a first-come basis to previous collectors of his work. If you have viewed this video and have been made aware of this opportunity, you are urged to call the Hunt Studio immediately.